Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Before starting, I would like to ask you to please subscribe if you enjoy and to hit the like button too, that way you can help me to start growing my channel. Now let's get into today's topic.
Even his allies concede that Joe Biden isn't as quick as he used to be. It now takes him an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. But to be fair, Biden's administration may be the fastest in history. We are less than a week in and the White House has already ended immigration enforcement, sent American troops into armed conflict, crippled the last remaining independent sector of our economy, and officially, for the first time in human history, denied the biological reality of sex differences. That all happened in 3.5 business days. Amazing. Google is getting its money's worth. Now, Congress is about to get involved in changing this country. Democrats control the entire legislative branch of government, so this should be a swift process, too. Their priority is House Resolution Number 1. It's called that because it is the first bill in the legislative pipeline. So what exactly is in that bill? It's possible that CNN hasn't brought you all the details yet. They're too busy trying to save the country from forbidden ideas in internet chat rooms. They're on the case there. As for the actual legislation pending before Congress, we'll let Nancy Pelosi herself explain what's in it. Here's what she said about Hr1 back in October.
We have plenty of work to do in the Joe Biden administration. We're going to build the infrastructure of America in a green way. We're going to make sure health care is available to all Americans, lower the cost of prescription drugs. We're going to have Hr1 right off the bat be about cleaner government so that we can reduce the role of big, dark, special interest money.
Hr1 is all about that big, dark, special interest money. Ooh, scary. Though you have to wonder why Nancy Pelosi is still using the term dark as a euphemism for bad. But whatever, it's Nancy Pelosi, so we can be sure it's not racism. Nancy Pelosi is a good person, unlike you. The real question is how the party of ruthless corporate monopolies gets away with fake populist talking points like that. We need cleaner government, shriek the puppets of Silicon Valley. The answer, of course, is they get away with it because no one stops them. This is the, quote, For the People Act we're talking about here. It's for the people, so shut up. What exactly does the Democratic Party intend to do for the people? Well, if you guessed enshrine their own rule by force forever, you win today's Daily Double. I'll take authoritarian political movements for 1,000, Alex. Good job. The For the People Act is the foundation of the Democratic Party's strategy to control the federal government well into your grandchildren's middle age. Take a look at it. Like most revolutionary documents, it's not a very exciting read. Nothing in it sounds especially radical at first until you think about it. The bill begins by declaring that, contrary to Article 1 of the United States Constitution, Congress has, quote, the ultimate supervisory power over federal elections. That's a big change. Under our current law, states get to decide how much fraud they will tolerate. Florida requires you to show photo identification in order to vote. California just wants you to vote Democrat. If Hr1 passes, all 50 states will be California. The entire country will have ballot harvesting and mail-in voting. Think about that. On January 6th, we had a riot at the U.S. Capitol. Why did that happen? It happened because millions of American voters were convinced that the last election was not fair. Where did they get that idea? Well, it wasn't simply because the last president told them so. You're hearing that now as if they're animals who take commands and do what they're told, but they're not animals. They're people. They're American citizens who can see what's happening and come to their own conclusions about it. They saw the radical increase in mail-in voting, millions did, and it corroded their faith and the public's faith in our systems of election. They were enraged by that, and some of them exploded. According to Democrats, the lesson of that terrible day is that we need more of the corrupt policies that caused it in the first place. We need more mail-in voting. We need more ballot harvesting, more corruption. That'll unite the country. We're not overstating any of this. Hr1 would literally enshrine fraud. Here's a direct quote from that legislation. Quote, a state may not require an individual to provide any form of identification as a condition of obtaining an absentee ballot. Any form of identification, no identification whatsoever. Nor can signatures be validated. Here's another direct quote from Hr1. Quote, a state may not require notarization or witness signature or other formal authentication, other than a voter's word for it, as a condition of obtaining or casting an absentee ballot. Under Hr1, paid political operatives could freely go house to house, apartment to apartment, collecting unknown thousands of ballots, then dump them all at a ballot drop box. and no one would have any idea if those ballots had been tampered with at any point along the way, nor would there be any way to prove it if they had been tampered with. And by the way, Hr1 also makes it harder for election observers to file complaints about any of this because complaining is racist. A system like that is suicidal for a democracy. No other free country would tolerate it. France and Canada don't tolerate it. They have banned mail-in ballots. They don't want fraud. By the way, neither does Amazon.com. It's a real company. Jeff Bezos, who owns it, is strongly for mail-in voting when mail-in voting allows his parties to take control of everything. You're a bigot if you oppose that. But when it comes to union elections in his own company, elections that might require Jeff Bezos to pay his long-suffering workers decent wages and benefits, Jeff Bezos is totally opposed to it. Amazon is fighting mail-in balloting in its union election in Alabama right now. Amazon.com's position is that an election decided by mail-in ballots wouldn't be, and we're quoting, valid or fair. When it's their power at stake, Democrats have a totally different position, and that's true in California right now. You may have heard there is a recall effort underway in that state. Voters are trying to boot their comically incompetent governor, Gavin Newsom. More than 1 million people have signed on so far to that effort. But it's not so easy to get it done because Democrats are requiring in-person signatures for those petitions. Suddenly they're very worried about voter fraud. You should know this is not hypocrisy. Republicans often call it hypocrisy, but it's not. It's far more profound than that. Democrats don't care about hypocrisy. They don't mind if they're caught breaking their own rules. They're not offended by double standards. They want power. This is a power grab. That's all it is. And your complaining about it means nothing to them. If you needed more evidence of that, as if you needed more evidence, consider new legislation from Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy. She's a Democrat from Orlando. Murphy has proposed a bill that would ban anyone with the wrong opinions from having a significant job in the federal government. Believe forbidden things and you don't get a security clearance. You can't work here. Murphy's bill would require federal investigators to ask all applicants whether they had, quote, associated with or knowingly engaged in activities conducted by an organization or movement that spreads conspiracy theories and false information about the United States government, end quote. Wait a second. Conspiracy theories and false information about the United States government? Whoa. It sounds like these people could be in trouble.
You can see evidence in plain sight on the issue of collusion.
So there's clear evidence on the issue of collusion, and this adds to that body of evidence. And there is significant evidence of collusion. There is ample evidence, and indeed there is, of collusion of people in the Trump campaign with the Russians. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy.
All of this is evidence of collusion. There is significant evidence, much of it in the public domain, on the issue of collusion.
Just kidding. The people who spent years peddling ludicrous conspiracy theories, disproven factually, theories that Vladimir Putin secretly controlled the federal government, those people will be fine. Because at this point, that would include pretty much everyone currently in power. Yes, they were knee-deep in conspiracy theories that actually hurt our country in measurable ways. But this legislation isn't designed to punish them. Just the opposite. This legislation is designed to protect them from your criticism. Under Stephanie Murphy's bill, anyone who criticizes Stephanie Murphy could be punished. Oh, makes sense now?
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy and please leave a like and share to spread the information to others. Goodbye.